Hey guys, welcome back finally to another episode of commentary from a D-list black belt. So, along with my return of the King Gordon Ryan. Sorry that I haven't been posting in so long. Bit of a series of events. My computer died, and then I had to try and figure out how to regain OBS, which I believe is working for me now. So I've got for you Gordon Ryan's return. He's versing Patrick Gaudio. They just had the most amazing introduction. The presenter has not only amazing hair but an amazing voice. I really loved it. And Gordon just sat down a box on the caster's desk. So we've got the stats here. 28, 30, 6'2", 5'11", roughly the same weight, roughly the same rank. Now, before you say, well, 13 is nowhere near the number one. It's much, much closer than, my rank, which is like 10,500 something rather. Do you know what I mean? Like I don't, that's just pulled off the top of my head. I don't actually know what my rank would be, but it's much closer to the top than I would be, So both of these lads would beat me easy, and I'm kind of excited to sort of see what happens. So I've got that muted. And I think we're getting into the match sort of immediately. Let's have a look. Alright, well, there was no prelude, there was no slap and tap, we're just straight into it. Maybe it's me. I kind of wonder, actually, if they got those height stats wrong. Because, look how much taller Gordon looks. Got like a whole 2 inches of height. I just have to wonder if Gordon is actually the 6'2", and I don't know. He looks really tall. It could just be because Gaudio's crouching, but I wonder if they got those wrong. So Gordon's being, I love that already. Snap downs, this is perfect. Well, this is happenstance. This is a perfect sort of example of what I'm trying to say, is that the snap downs are really difficult to deal with because it strains the back muscles. And hang on, sorry guys, I'm just going to up the size of that. Whoops. Too big. Alright, hang on. Just right. Perfect. The snap downs are really difficult to deal with, and it seems to be Gordon's game, but you'll see in a second where he whips down twice with his hand, and it can be really difficult to deal with. It's very off balancing. 1, 2, and it's just little tugs, because it's just testing the waters, and if Gaudio, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, I think I am, if Gaudio isn't careful, he's gonna have his head jammed down, and then he'll open up opportunities accidentally, and it's a very difficult thing for him to deal with, actually, and it's quite nice. And so with my own judo, if you're just tugging them off balance, you can really gain a lot of momentum, especially into the attacks and so on. Oops. And so I definitely think there's a height advantage for Gordon here, actually. Either that or he's just being a bit taller. And so they're grip fighting now at the moment, and Gordon goes for a strip of the grip, traditional classic gi style with the knee, but Gaudio snaps it up, and you can see Gordon's okay, no, whatever. If you look at his face, I missed it. Where is it? There it is. There we go. He's I'm really not stressed by this because I don't care if I'm on the floor. I actually prefer to give a takedown so I can get on the floor faster. And now they're just going into the center of the mats. He's hopping, he's chilling. And then here we go. And so he just doesn't care, because either he'll get the takedown, he'll get the counter, or he'll be taken down, and it just doesn't matter. Not to Gordon, that is. It should matter to the rest of us. Once you understand the rules, you can break the rules, but none of us understand the rules like Gordon does. So, don't break rules. And you can see how all the time, I really like this, by the way, all the time Gordon's smashing back in for this head control. I quite like that both of them aren't worried by committing to the fight. Like a lot of these biggins and a lot of guys will be touching hands, and that's the most grappling that they do until they get all the way into it. But these guys are straight into the commitment, like tight clinches early, which is a bit more exciting in my mind. Yes, they're breaking and all the rest of it to come away from each other, but it's a bit more exciting. Now, I quite like what Gordon's doing here. Again, I've pointed out this, but you can see how he keeps on clubbing in with the right hand, and he's pushing this one across. That can be to get like the drive-by to the back. It can also be, you see how this foot's light, he might be looking to foot tap and all the rest of it. Either way, you can really put your opponent on the back foot by clubbing in on the head and like just playing your game. And Gordon very clearly has a game that's centered around right hand club in, left hand pummeling the hand across. And he's just not stressed, and you can see how he leant backwards just a little bit because he's kind of baiting the single leg pickup. He's not doing anything to defend this space in here because, again, he doesn't care if he gets taken down. He kind of prefers it, in my mind at least, because at least it's on the ground, and then he's so confident with his ground game that he's just going to out-technique these biggins, because you got to remember where Gordon came from. He's using like the 88 kgs or something like that, 170 pounds or so ish, or 180 pounds thereabouts. That's relatively small for a jiu-jitsu athlete, especially if you're talking in comparison to the proper biggins that are like 250 pounds that he is now. He needed good technique back then. He needs good technique now, but like doubly so when the weight discrepancy was huge. And now that he's bigger, you can point all the fingers you want for ped use and all the rest of it, but it remains true that he's bigger now. But he brought the technique from the 88 kilo division up, and so in my experience, in my opinion, such as it is that the small ends are much more technical, but they end up losing to the big ends because of the size discrepancy. Now, that's not to say that big ends aren't technical in their own right. It's just different layers of technique. So like the technique, they're just as technical as the small ends, but the techniques used and the way they go about it is different. And so when you combine small man jiu-jitsu, quote unquote small man, with big ends, you get Gordon Ryan, basically, which is why he's so good, and because he can make the small man technique work against the big ends. And so because of that, sorry, I digress, because of that, this space is now open. He doesn't care because he's so confident with his technique on the ground. Very gorgeous technique. And I love it because something occurs to me, right? We just saw Gordon Ryan actually get a takedown. People forget that he's really good at wrestling. So I love the strategy employed here. Which is, I don't actually care if you take me down, and I'm going to take you off guard when I finally shoot for one. And so you can see how Gaudio is going for his takedown here. And it's really nice technique, but Gordon, instead of defending it, because he knows that, because he's recognizing that Gaudio's head is quite tall, so his arms are reaching long down, meaning there's a lot of space in here. And so you can see how he's going for the arm drag now, which will go back across the body. As he goes, you can see how it's go time now. Like, look at his face and look at his hair. Far out, it's go time. So he stomps the leg down, sets up the arm drag off of the bait for the single leg, and now you can see how closely his head is turning in. So we'll try and slow this down. Playback speed, we'll go half speed. And he trying to latch on for the back. You can see how close he is still. You know, yes, there's some disconnect, but he's not stepped out here trying to step around the corner. He's like sliding around the body. Yeah. And Gaudio's trying to turn, and he manages to turn, so Gordon straight away steps in for the double leg. Because if he were to keep on trying to go around the corner, Gaudio would step out of it, and they would like spin away from each other, you know, and then they would have to come in again, that sort of thing. But because of this, Gordon goes, nah, I'm going to go for the double leg, and I'm going to get you down. And then he turns it back into a single leg and goes the opposite direction, which is quite nice, actually, because Gaudio's not going to be expecting the change in direction. So arm drag, turn, you go for the double leg, picks up the single leg and turns it back around. Now, this is exactly what he's been working on with John Danaher. If you see that the training video, like a day in the life of training with Gordon Ryan, something like that, on flow grappling, John Danaher is talking immediately about if you can gain control over the opposite side to the single leg, you'll be able to take them down quite easily. And guess what happens to number 13 in the world? He gets rotated back to the ground. Now, Gaudio doing a good job trying to put these feet in to lift Gordon to the other side, but you can see how Gordon's already trying to drop the hip in. And he's posting off the opposite hand, he's allowing his weight to come down through the arm, and he's going to be rotating the hip in. As you can see, Gordon straight away gains control over the bottom leg because he doesn't want it to come through and back onto the hip, because then he'll get pushed away, the guard's over. So he's gaining control over the bottom leg, and then he's pressuring in, and this is very, very difficult to deal with if you're Gaudio. And you can see how Gordon goes straight away to the shoulders, and he's starting to constrict like a python. All right, we'll go back to full speed. Very beautiful sequence. So this is not a good place for Gaudio to be, and in my mind he should be doing a little bit more to try and scramble up. And that was, I can't even describe how nice that balancing act on top was. Okay, before I get into this, one of my students said that I seem to have a massive heart-on for Gordon. I don't, actually. I don't like his marketing strategies. I don't like the ped use in the sport at all. You know, I don't like any of that personally. But I love the jiu-jitsu. You know, I'm not about judging people for, because this is a professional setting for me, right, to analyze the jiu-jitsu, and it helps me get better. If you ask me personally, I go, yeah, no, I hate the fact that the top athletes are on steroids because it destroys chances for young lads to have any hope of like a career at the top without convincing them they need to destroy their bodies over time, that sort of thing. I don't like that. I consider it cheating personally, and I don't like that saying if everyone's cheating, no one is, because no, that just means everyone's cheating, and then it doesn't stop at the top. The only reason those guys are at the top is because they're cheating. The people below them that don't cheat are the ones that suffer, right? Like people like me, and people in my level that can't get to that level without cheating, you know. That's my personal opinion. No, I don't like his marketing strategy because I feel like, by all reports, he's a really lovely person, but he just acts like a dick, you know, because it sells. I don't think that that's a very good sort of positive male role model for young athletes. So, you know, like I don't like his marketing strategy. However, his jiu-jitsu is amazing. And if it wasn't Gordon Ryan, if this situation was reversed where Gordon's on bottom and he's the number 13 and Gaudio is the one that hasn't lost in competition since 2018 or whatever, I'd be all over Gaudio, you know. So I love the jiu-jitsu, right? And it should be noted that, yeah, you still have to work hard with PEDs, but they make it easier to work hard. Do you know what I mean? And so like, I understand that I highlight a lot of Gordon's jiu-jitsu, but you have to understand that to me it's so nice watching what he's doing, because oh my goodness, his jiu-jitsu is so clean, his technique's so clean, what he's doing in his decision making is so clean and good, and that's why he's currently the best on the planet. He's just a step above everyone at the moment, and I'd be saying that about whoever was a step above everyone at the moment. So you have to excuse me while we go back a second and I gush a little bit over this sequence. So we're here. I said that I felt like Gaudio should be doing more to get out. He immediately goes for an underhook. You see, Gordon is going for his 4-point guard, right? His other leg is here, sorry. So his like knees going forwards and back, and then here, and then arm, and then arm, and then his body's like this. He's gone for his 4-point guard, which is quite interesting to me, because that actually seems to make it very difficult for the person on bottom to move. And then if they try and like scoop out the bottom, Gordon will just follow them. It's very hard. So even though he's completely disconnected, he still has a lot of control. So he drops to make it harder for Gaudio to lift him, and he's using his outside hands to push back it. Right? Gaudio then goes, all right, I'll rock him back. And you can see how Gordon was just like seesawing side to side, side to side to side to side. And we'll go back with it again. So Gaudio lifts him with the frame, control the inside space, gets the underhook, and then Gordon goes side to side to side to side to side to side, and then sits up, goes side to side to side, and then steps up into a knee cut pass, head immediately controlling the inside space, and just collapses back down. So that was a lot of physical effort for Gaudio just to end up in the same position but worse, with his arm trapped across the body. Right? Fucking hell, look at the size of his fucking arm. It's bigger than my leg. Anyway, there's a lot of physical effort to end up in like a really bad spot, and you can see again how Gordon's not really worried about the leg entanglements and all the rest of it that people go for, because he has the crossface and he's attached to the bottom shoulder. So this hand here and this elbow is flaring wide, and this arm is pulling in, which is encouraging Gaudio onto his back, which makes any attack on the legs really difficult to go for. So he's not worried by it, and I actually use this exact same sequence a lot, and it's very difficult for the person on bottom. You can see how Gaudio's got the underhook on the leg. He's trying to go for it, but the S grip comes in, and then Gordon's using his elbow to flare, as I just said, and it shuts it down really nicely. A little bit of indecision by Gordon here, I feel. But he's just playing his game, so he's going back for it, really. And you can see, like, I think that was actually a mistake by Gordon, to be honest with you. He lets go of this instead of grinding in like he could have. And I feel like in this position against someone that you're much better than comparatively, you can just grind them flat. Because that was such a dominant and winning position that we saw, where even like you should be grabbing here and encouraging your chest behind the shoulder to drop it forwards. Because if Gaudio were to keep going forwards, you end up with a rear naked by sliding the knee through, up the back, sitting in, pulling them over the top with you, and then you end up with this arm wrapped around the neck. Very nice sequence, and I feel like that Gordon's kind of playing with his food here. Either that or it was a mistake, to be honest with you. I'm going to go with it was a purposeful decision, because we always want to give the competitors the benefit of the doubt. But to me, it wasn't a good decision to make. You know, even though you're trying to prove that you're still number one and all the rest of it. So it does its job, but like in terms of actually winning the match, it's not the right decision. You can see how it allows Gaudio into like a little bit of a scramble. Ooh, I liked that. So Gaudio manages to put his top hook in like a reverse butterfly, where the hip, knee, foot, ankle, toes. And he's got his foot in like this at the moment, as you can see. And Gordon is going to go for an under wrap and just move away and pull it out. It's very, very pleasant. And you can see how he's still controlling the bottom leg, sorry. Now, if he falls, because he falls into this space, so it doesn't matter. So he's literally falling over and he's making Gaudio carry him. And if Gaudio doesn't want to carry him, he just gets smashed, you know. And very, very difficult. Now he's back into like a knee shield, which is very difficult to deal with, much more so than a butterfly hook. So I quite like that, and I'm going to try and use that in my own rolls. And you can see he's doing the same thing as with Gaudio now. So the meta of Jiu-Jitsu is going to half guard, control the shoulders, cross face like this, smash. And I think Gaudio's probably better than Gaudio because it took him a little bit longer, right? And now that Gaudio is flat, this is a very difficult position to be in. The crossface doesn't look fun. So Gaudio's done a good job getting this underhook, but you can see how Gordon's like going backwards to kill the power of the ability for Gaudio to like lift that up, and then what he's trying to do, Gordon that is get this elbow joint in behind the elbow of Gaudio. Gaudio goes for a frame to push him away and all the rest of it, but goes for a shrimp and allows a body lock. Gets the underhook again, now we're in the same position. And I just feel like with these big-ins, they go about jiu-jitsu the wrong way. Like, I really feel like they do, and I feel like Gordon's the only one that goes about jiu-jitsu the right way at the moment in this big-in category. Because they're all on peds, right? Or most of them are. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. Because they're all big-ins. They're all huge and they're all strong. They can get away with this explosive movement. But why? It's not necessary. Instead, you should be using leverage, right? Not explosion. Leverage, like, yes, it's through the amplifying force through the fulcrum or something. So like an arm bar, you get your hips behind the elbow, amplify the force through the elbow by isolating the joint, so on and so forth. But like leverage also means like pallet jacking, right? Get this underhook, start lifting it and encouraging Gordon up. Then do like tiny little shrimps to get on your side, tucking your head in and encouraging Gordon up your body. you use less energy than these big explosive movements. You make much more gains, but these big uns are just so used to being able to go bush and off the top, and then they don't care about 5% of their gas tank, because 5% of their gas tank is still huge, and then the rest of their gas tank is usually big enough to finish out the match. But it doesn't work with someone like Gordon, who's really good at just flopping and using his pressure technique. It just doesn't work. And so why would you be bad just because your opponent's good, is my question. Like, why does your style change? All these big uns have the same style as Gordon when they're on top. They're not very explosive, and they're not very quick moving unless they need to be, and they're all trying to use pressure. But then when they're on bottom, suddenly the whole style changes to be like super scrambly, and I just don't understand it. Why would you change your whole style just because you're underneath? Gordon has one style and one style alone, and that's consistent advancement. And there's a reason why he's the best, and that's the best way to go. If you disagree with me, go have a match with him and see. Very good. And you see how Gordon's got the crossface in. He's starting to walk around the corner. As he walks around the corner, it's very, very difficult for Gaudio to do much, right? So Gordon gets the crossface. He wanted this underhook. He walks around the corner, and you'll see how that starts to put Gaudio flat. Because Gaudio's flat, his elbow's now exposed and the space is open, which means that Gordon can strain this. Gaudio will reach down. Gordon will take an underhook. Like so. And then as soon as this happens, Gordon's going to be cross-facing the forearm basically, and then goes forehead to floor, and then he'll use his leg weave to start getting to mount. It'll be very difficult. Big explosive movement to get Gordon away, and then you see how, every time I teach this to my students as well, I want to point out this mistake. Shoulders are flat, so his shoulders start off here. Watch. Up, shoulders go to here. His shoulders start off here, shoulders go up to here. Looks real good distance. That's really good. Shoulder came back down to here. Went up again, briefly to here, and now they're back down here. He just lost all advancement. He went up, back down. A good position up here, terrible position down here. And he lost it because he tried to do a big explosive movement rather than ratcheting a little bit at a time. And using the leg on the floor to reinforce his hips going up to enable his abs to crunch in. Because he's thinking that arms are frames, I have to push with the arms, rather than set with the arms, use your abs to push. Use bigger muscle groups to push. And so it's a mistake what Gaudio's doing, trying to do big explosive movements, and he's being punished because normally he gets away with it because he's a big one. So he never had to learn good technique. You can see how now he's in a quarter guard. Gordon is maintaining this underhook, and you can see how his arms are so connected. He's attached and forcing Gaudio flat, encouraging him flat. And he's trying to just deal with this underhook wherever this is for Gaudio. Yep, pummels it in. And it's starting to encourage Gaudio flat, and this is a mistake because Gordon's going to get his back now. This arm through is a mistake. That's a huge critical blunder. Gaudio's going to step up. Gordon's going to step up around Gaudio and start looking to take his back because, again, this is now no longer a half guard, but rather the first hook of a back control. And Gordon has a lot of control. Yeah, and because of that mistake, Gaudio had to use a massively explosive movement to get back into the fight. And I really love what Gordon was doing there. So he's sitting down, and now he's in like a saddle type cross ashy position. So if Gaudio's not careful, Gordon will attack his feet. Right. And you can see him. He's like tapping, so Gaudio has to respect it, and he immediately goes in with his arm. And now, this is the gorgeous bit. You can see how Gordon's setting this up. He's got hands on hip, hand on bottom knee. He's going to step and lift as he pushes down, and he's slicing this knee across to get back to mount. Loves himself some mount. Gaudio then attacks it, attacks the leg for like the single leg wrestle up sort of thing. Tries to lift him, and Gordon just sits heavy. Gordon was going for this underhook, and Gaudio now has to use a lot more physical effort. So all the while, Gordon's burning Gaudio's juice. And you can see how they get back straightway back into basically a half guard knee cut position, and Gordon's just pummeling in for that underhook the whole time, and he's making Gaudio carry his weight. And you can see how there's only so much physical effort that Gaudio can put in for 5-6 seconds at a time, and then he like pauses for a second to catch a breath. Gordon goes boom, straight in, underhook, head on the inside. This elbow needs to flare to stop the knee from driving through, so Gordon will get an underhook. Gordon's going to hunt for an underhook on the other side. A very difficult position to play. Deep half, and then it's basically a useless deep half because of this underhook of Gordon's. And he steps back down around the corner to clear the underhook on his leg, which can be very annoying. And he's just starting to drive Gaudio around the corner again. And he's just going to go for that leg weave, like so, and take mount. Oh. Now he's got double unders, and a very, very difficult position for Gaudio to play. Very good. You see how Gaudio went for another big explosive movement. Gets away with it all the time in his gym, I'm sure. It doesn't work against people that know how to move around it, as we can see. You know, you try that against Buchecha or Hodger and it'll be the same result, you know. And it's the same result because of the focus on the underhooks, right, for Gordon. He doesn't care if you catch the leg. He's focusing on the underhooks. And because of that, it makes it very hard to make him respect this big bush type movement, big explosive movement where you like push the legs out of the way. Push him out of the way. Because he will literally just come off you, allow you the leg as long as he gets the underhook. He doesn't care. And then it will just pass him out again. It's like so. He doesn't care. And you can see how what Gordon's doing is he's making Gaudio carry him the whole time. So any movement Gaudio needs to make, he's just getting fucking punished for. And this, what we just saw there, was exactly what I was talking about with the chest behind and pummeling in. So Gaudio almost fell for it, right? Let's watch it again. So it's the same position I was talking about before, where the chest is behind the shoulder, and you can see how Gordon's like snaking around this top shoulder. Watch what happens. Gaudio tries to turn belly down, he gets his head twisted back around the corner, and then Gordon can start stepping over the top to back if he wants to. Which he goes for, and Gaudio has to make a huge fucking movement to get out of it. And it's still the same position. He's trying to go for the legs, but because of this head control, Gordon doesn't care about this because he won't get it. If strength is equalized, which it is, more or less, the person on the bottom won't be able to pull this. It's like picking a bucket up when you stood in it, especially when the head's being twisted back around the corner. It's so weak. Such a weak position to be in. Like, it's very, very dominating for Gordon. Very good. There's nothing really to say about that. It's just exactly the same on repeat what we've been talking about. Now Gordon's looking for the smother tap, Very good mount attack. You see how he's got underhook and crossface, and this is a very difficult position to be in. I don't know what Gaudio is trying to do here to protect his arms, I guess. I think Gordon would rather sit in like this, like this leg triangle type position than he would in mount, because it's just easier to give someone a false sense of hope so they go for something so you can drain them even more. He could have finished it from top mount there. He's just trying to make a statement, I think. Very nice little leg weave. I love that. I love what Gordon did there. So if you pay attention to this leg here, he like kicks it up, weaves over the top, and then pummels in on the ankle. It will just pass. It's a very, very difficult position to play when you're this tired already. 1, 2. Thank you very much, good sir. I'll take a side control. No worries. I'll let you have your guard back. No worries. Pummel in on the head. Knee on belly, pummeling on the head. Step to the other side. Oh, look, you caught me. Oh, well. Look at that, I passed again. And so Gordon here is trying just to make a statement, and I think he's succeeding quite well. And he's just playing with his food at this point. It's kind of like, come on, dude, just end it now. There's actually, truthfully, almost no point to commentate on what's going on, because like Gaudio's so tired now. Gordon can pretty much just do whatever he wants. He's just doing all the same stuff. Just to style on his opponent. And you can, like, I will comment on this though. This arm across the body is a consistent mistake Gaudio's made, and it's punished him relentlessly. If you get this elbow across the body, across the center line of the body, if you're Gordon, you will punish the shit out of your opponents, and it's so hard to stop the person from going to mount, because the only thing you have it to stop them is the hand, really. And all they need to do, Gordon that is roll his right hip in, start walking up, switch it back so that the elbow's cleared on this hip, and then just slide to mount. There's not much to do. Gordon lets go of his food again. It's like a sadistic cat, isn't he? And like again, there's not much point to commentating this because Gaudio's so tired he can't even take advantage of the space being given. Like he can't, like, look at that. Gordon's literally standing up. He can't even take advantage of this space at all. Gordon's just sapped that much of his energy. This gift wrap as well, like this like carnival ride wrap, wrist sloth claw, shovel scoop, really really good. And Gordon's literally just stepping through the guard now. There's yeah, this match is over. I would be calling this if I was the ref, to be honest with you. It kind of needs to be like a mercy tap in a way. But the reason why they don't is because, you know, anything could happen. Gordon could get too cocky, make a mistake, end up in a rear naked, and get choked out by the last vestiges of strength. But yeah, you can see how he's trying to pummel in now for underhooks again, doing really sexy little leg weaves as well. Wrist to wrist, go to mount, no worries. Thank you very much. There's probably the only thing Gaudio can do is like find angles to keep breathing. Very difficult. I think Gordon might be wanting a mat tap right now. So he's just punishing the person, Gaudio on bottom, sorry, not the person on bottom, Patrick. And punishing Patrick very, very hard at the moment. Very nice back take, pristine. Absolutely pristine back take. Again, you can just have free reign. There's not much that Gaudio can do at all. You know, he's just so tired, and Gordon's done such a good job of like wearing him out. That he doesn't need to do much in the way of, I'm just going to go here now, and there's not much Gaudio can do in the way of stopping that. It's a pristine armbar break, and then he just finishes it at will. Very well done. So that's the end of the match. Gordon gets up. He's tired, but like his gas tank's still there, you know. His gas tank's still there for sure. You know, I do think they got the height differences wrong. I'm still on that. Like, there's no way Gordon's only like 5'11" and Gaudio's 6'2". Not a chance. Disappointing result for Gaudio for sure. But again, like, it was just the same mistakes over and over and over that punished him relentlessly. And Gordon capitalized really beautifully. And then like, if the person was tired, I'm pretty sure I could beat Gaudio if he were that tired and I were rolling with him, you know, like fresh-ish. Because your skill level just drops when you lose your energy level. You know, it's like Dragon Ball Z. As soon as you're out of energy, you lose. And so that's part of Gordon's specialty, is just playing like a patience game. But also, I really love the strategy he uses. Just relax. Oh, you took me down, no worries. Oh, my turn for a takedown. Cool, I'm going to get you. Very difficult to deal with. And so, how would you deal with that? Well, the answer, in my mind at least, is you don't do explosive movements, and you work towards advantage. So say, for example, you get that underhook, you ratchet into it with small shrimps rather than big explosive shrimps, encouraging Gordon up your body the whole time so you can get wrestle ups. And then you just need to keep doing that and keep being patient. But it feels like these guys make kind of like blue belt, purple belt mistakes for no reason, just because it's Gordon Ryan, you know. And it's very strange to me, but that's okay. I like, Gordon's undeniably very good. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, please consider like, subscribe, all the rest of it. It makes me feel like an actual YouTuber. If you made it this far, I love you. I will give you a personal kiss right on the mouth. You made my day. Thank you so much, guys. Take it easy. Bye now.